Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Becky DeStichter, and I am on the management team at the Business Catapult. And I'm going to be taking you through an introduction to our company and just some insights into what our system can do, some screens from our system. And we definitely welcome questions both during the presentation and after we're done. Let me go ahead and introduce who we have here with us today. We have Kevin Johansson, CEO of Business Catapult. Kevin.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you on.
We also have John Corbett, who is an entrepreneur and user of our system. John, you want to say hello?
Sure. Sorry about that. Just was listening in. I'm here. John's here.
Okay. And also we have Les Makepeace, who is an investor, educator, and heavily involved in the entrepreneur and investor community. Les?
Hey, everybody.
All right. This is what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be talking about Business Catapult as it relates to IEEE and the TechMatch program. What is the Business Catapult and how does it help IEEE entrepreneurs? We're going to walk through how an entrepreneur would use the system, and then we're also going to talk about how IEEE uses the system as well as other partner organizations on our site. And then business advisors, which in the case of IEEE are mentors, how they would use the system to better help position IEEE entrepreneurs for funding. And then we'll have a little wrap-up after that. This is one of my favorite quotes from Kevin, but it's Business Catapult. This is the short version. We put the right investors and advisors in front of the right entrepreneurs at the right time for the right reasons. And we'll talk about how we do that. In terms of TechMatch, we are a technology platform, social networking, helping to match entrepreneurs with experienced advisors from IEEE. And with this matching and this mentorship that goes on between entrepreneurs and the advisors, along with a gap analysis, the intent is to build better business plans with greater success for funding and growth. So how do we help entrepreneurs? Well, the first thing we do after an entrepreneur logs on is they go through a gap analysis. So they fill out a benchmark survey, which creates a gap analysis to help an entrepreneur understand where their strengths and weaknesses lie. In the case of TechMatch, the entrepreneur is matched with resources and mentors based on that gap analysis. We believe this creates or helps to enforce entrepreneurial community development, helping connect entrepreneurs with investors, both through IEEE and also other investors who come to Business Catapult. And then for investors, we are deal flow and deal screening services. So the value in this is that your business development IQ is raised for entrepreneurs. They make new connections through IEEE that they wouldn't have had otherwise to help them guide through the startup stage. And they spend a lot less time seeking capital resources because they can find those resources on Business Catapult.
Yeah, if I could unpack this a little bit for you, this is Kevin Johansson. The business profiling process that generates the gap analysis, in the middle of that is a thing called the benchmark survey, in which your answers are compared to the answers of your successful peers. This is also something of a checklist-driven process. A blank check mark is a target for an advisor to hit, and the group administrators in your group, part of their job is to recruit appropriate advisors to the types of problems that your entrepreneurs have to solve. And thanks to things like LinkedIn and again, your 300-some-odd-thousand members, there's plenty of advisors out there. We just need to go get them so as we can work with you to help solve the problem.
Okay, do we have any entrepreneurs on the call that like to either ask questions, or John, if you'd like to make a comment of value you see in the system, maybe we haven't mentioned, or that you'd like to chime in on?
I think at this point, Sure. I mean, Becky, this helped answer the questions you answered following the system as an entrepreneur. It creates a dialogue. It creates exactly it raises issues that both investors and entrepreneurs need to be aware of. And I think as you go through, though, your presentation, it'll be far more clear just how valuable that will be, or that is.
To give all you guys a sense as to what went into this, this was putting that benchmark survey together was a non-trivial task. It took us 3 years to do with a dozen people involved with letters behind their name. So the value of the benchmark report, the resulting document that's generated from the benchmark survey, is pretty significant to a lot of entrepreneurs. It's a course setter, it's a priority setter, it's a number of things.
Okay, so the value that IEEE as a partner organization receives is you can identify large numbers of qualified advisors and investors. You can engage them in conversation about mentoring. You can recruit those who are best fit, so you can help match up those advisors, mentors to entrepreneurs. So it allows you to manage that process. So obviously this represents a lot of value for your members to have this as part of their IEEE membership. So I forgot to mention. Yeah, absolutely. It brings greater value at less cost to be able to mentor, position these entrepreneurs so that they can take advantage of the market, investment opportunities, and they see IEEE as an important platform to use in terms of TechMatch.
As I mentioned, going back to the process, a lot of entrepreneurs run off and hire expensive attorneys and accountants to help them move their business forward before they know what business they're in. And the business profiling process helps them identify the leverage points in their business model, helps them figure out how to prioritize the effort. So it saves a lot of time and money for the entrepreneurs. The old saw that 80% of new businesses don't survive the first 2 years, 90% don't survive the first 5. We've got some early stage indicators that show us taking about 20% off the top of that first statistic, that 80%, just by building a business profile on our platform. Pretty pleased with the results from that.
Okay, we're going to go through a demonstration now of some screens from our system and what you would do as an entrepreneur through the business catapult. So first we're going to talk about creating a company business profile, receiving a gap analysis from that benchmark survey, how to submit your business profile, and then how mentors will connect with that. So the sections of the business profile are about your business, about yourself, performance milestones that include things like when your company became cash flow positive. Is it cash flow positive? At what point are you making a profit? Things like that. Marketing and strategy questions, questions about current investors, investments, and then about your team. So not to worry if you can't read the small print on the screenshots, but this is high-level business information that starts you out. So things like your company name, your zip code, website, and then a section to put in your elevator pitch. This is performance milestone. So like I mentioned before, when do you become profitable? If you're not profitable yet, when did you start your business? So really tracking the major pieces of business as you move forward between when inception, generating revenue, becoming profitability. Where are you in that process? Marketing and strategy questions, things like uniqueness, your target market. So as you can see, people would either have a drop-down menu in some cases, other cases would click on a button that was appropriate to their choice. Some investing questions. What level of investment are they seeking? What kind of funding sources are they looking at? and questions about the entrepreneur and their team. I mean, is this an experienced entrepreneur? What's their comfort level and experience working with customers directly, with the product? What's their experience in this area as well? And then the gap analysis. So the benchmark report, once you've filled out all these questions, it's generated, shows your strengths and weaknesses. It shows the range that's a good answer for that particular question. For instance, marketing uniqueness or your experience in sales, things like that. But it also shows you, for instance, here in the drill down to a specific question, you can see at the bottom of the screen there's a place that shows that it's a risk area. There's a yellow diamond, and it's outside of the green range if you're looking at the bottom of that screen. And so that's out of range, and it's going to flag that and tell you why it's important to have that or what that score means.
What you're looking at is the executive summary from the benchmark report. It prints out to about 1 page. You can see the graphics on this. You're either in the green or in the red on 15 different attributes of successful entrepreneurship. The full report, depending upon how you answer the questions, prints out to 15 to 22 pages. There's a lot of information in there. Also, this is free. There's no cost to the entrepreneur or any cost to the partner group to use our platform. And going beyond that, you as an entrepreneur, the only people that see your benchmark report, your business profile, are the people you permission to see it. So you can generate this document, you can take this test, you can do this, build this business profile, and the only person that has to see it is you if that's what you want it to be.
Okay, once the gap analysis is given to the entrepreneur, the system prompts them to go to create an investment summary. So the investment summary is for the entrepreneurs to show potential investors or potential mentors what their company is about. So this is information about the company, what stage of development are you in, what industry are you in, some investment specifics about what you're looking for. The benchmark report is included already in the investment summary, but you can add extra important elements like your executive summary, your business plan, if you have a video link to a presentation about your company. So yeah, a lot of different elements to basically create a package for mentors and investors to look at and be able to see where they can add value to what you're doing and whether or not you are an investment they're interested in.
As a metaphor, think of this as a dating service. Our job here isn't to get you married on our platform. Our job here is to get you that coffee date at Starbucks with the people that you need to get help from. Or coffee shop of your choice.
Okay, so here are some of the questions you see for the investment summary. There's a checklist. I know this is in small print, so my apologies, but just know it's a checklist just to be able for entrepreneurs to know, have you thought about these things? Are you including, for instance, information about your sales engine, how you're going to drive to revenue, and just different elements that need to be included somewhere in the documents you've attached or in your presentation so that it's a more complete picture for mentors and investors to look at. Now we're going to move on. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Comments? Okay. Moving on to investors and advisors. And a mentor with IEEE would complete a profile, create a profile on Business Catapult. They would join, in this case, the group, meaning IEEE TechMatch. And there are summaries and ability to look at individual deals. So let's take a look.
Some of you are probably familiar with the term swarm analysis or perhaps collective intelligence or collaborative filtering. These are types of things that are designed into the Business Catapult. By example, the Angel Capital Summit, which is angelcapitalsummit.org, which is happening right now, has about 100 people, 100 investors doing the final screening on the companies that we're going to be selecting to present at the event. That's a lot of attention, that's a lot of IQ being applied to the entrepreneur's problems right now, and they get a lot of help in a hurry through this process.
Okay, so looking at the investor profile, it's pretty straightforward. It's contact information. It's information about whether or not that investor or advisor wants to have a closed account or open to others. It goes over summarizing what their experience is, their investment experience, their self-assessment, and their interest. So, for instance, is the advisor interested in electrical engineering related companies or some other specific category? So it helps to manage who these advisors are on the platform. And in some cases, there's a geographic focus as well that some advisors choose.
Specific to angel investors, 90% of angel deals happen within a lunch hour's drive of the investor. The angel investing is an intensely localized phenomenon.
So if you're creating an investor or an advisor profile, you start with writing your name. There is a place for a title. I think it works well sometimes to use your name as a title, unless there's a reason to not do it. Here are some more sample questions.
Again, it's free. I encourage you all to dig in and play with this a little bit.
Okay. Once you've created your profile, then the next thing you'll want to do is join a group. And in this particular case, the group you want to join is IEEE USA TechMatch. So it's amongst the groups, I believe they're alphabetized, so under I. And then there are instructions on the right on how to apply to that group. And obviously, if you're a mentor for IEEE administrator, that group will let you in. And business advisors, they may be just volunteers who are mentoring because they want to see other people from their same group succeed. And in some cases, they are business advisors who are looking to provide services to entrepreneurs. So, for instance, attorneys, consultants, accountants, those sort of folk. So what's nice about the system is you only find out about the attorneys if you have a problem with your legal structure or IP protection or some other indicator in the system that tells you that you should be talking to an attorney, and then the attorney list will.
And going back to the earlier slide about the referral engine, our database is going to be agented soon. So you'll be seeing information about the types of people you need to talk to, when you need to talk to them. That's part of the big picture plan here.
Okay, just in summary, so we are the eHarmony of matching entrepreneurs, investors, and advisors together for the right people at the right time. And the processes we've used are designed to accelerate the growth of companies. And we try to serve all of those audiences, those users, to the best of our abilities so that we can grow entrepreneurial community. Anybody have any questions or comments they'd like to make?
Becky, this is Les. If I could weigh in at this point, I'm probably one of the more experienced Business Catapult customers, and I think the main value, and you touched on it, but I kind of want to drive it home here a bit. The main value of the platform is you're going to have, in any partner group, and we'll use TechMatch as the example, but it's true everywhere, you're going to have your collection of interested entrepreneurs who really want to try to move, from IEEE's case, I'm assuming it's going to be some kind of technology business forward. And you're also going to have a community of people who genuinely want to help. And the platform, first and foremost, serves as that social networking platform to connect to those groups in a meaningful way. In other words, there's a table in the platform. One side of the table is the entrepreneur, and the other side is the investor advisor. And it's really built to help put those two people on those two sides of the table. It's actually useful at a number of different stages. It's sort of built around the idea of, bringing money into an early stage company. But to be honest with you, I see as much or more value in just bringing the mentorship for that, 4 months, 8 months, a year, whatever, to the early stage company that's required to get them ready so that they are, viable to put in front of an investor. And so the real key to the administrator or the administrators is to cultivate this community. Now you've got a tool to put the community in, but to cultivate the community and to get those mentors on one side of the table, actively engaging your entrepreneurial members in a way that's meaningful and in a way that's starting to mature the deal. I think the other big advantage to a group like IEEE, which is so huge, is, a great deal of this interaction can be virtual, and so you might have a mentor on one coast working with an entrepreneur on another coast, and the platform enables that. And admittedly, most of the work that I've done in the system has been in and around Metro Denver, but even then, we are orders of magnitude more efficient in the engagement because it can be virtual, and we don't have to keep putting people in the same room at the same moment.
Yep. And and John Corbett, this is one of the reasons why I invited you into this conversation. We have a rolling series of entrepreneurs on our platform do what we refer to as hit for the cycle. It's a baseball term: single, double, triple, home run. What that means on the business catapult is, yes, they got investors. They also got C-level talent. They got board directors, and sometimes they get customers. The good to great metaphor: get the right people on the bus in the right order. Can dramatically collapse the time to first customer for a lot of businesses. It really helps accelerate. If done right, it really helps accelerate business development. And that's, again, what our focus is: get the right entrepreneur in front of the right investor advisor at the right time for the right reasons.
Kevin, that really does sum it up nicely. I mean, what in the process of going through Business Catapult and our presentation, et cetera, we actually did acquire all those things that Kevin mentioned. We have an investor. Investor came on board, joined our board eventually. We picked up an employee from a large company who was they're actually looking to buy into the services and was so enamored with what we were doing, actually left that job and came to us. And of course, they came with a customer as well. This is a significant, I guess it's a significant success in sort of a pivot point in our development and growth in the last few years. And we can point to this as a tremendous success. And I think the Business Catapult, the process of going through it not only connected all those things together, but it also enabled the conversation to be far more effective because, as Becky pointed out earlier on, you can see where the questions, if you will, were scored either good or bad, but it gave you a leverage point to ask that question and articulate an answer so that it didn't take months, and if you will, to work your way through all the different objections or however you wish to phrase that. But it gave you a very concise way to hold an informative conversation immediately.
Just a quick note on the Q&A that you go through as you build your business profile. The only wrong answers are the ones that aren't honest answers, okay? I mentioned earlier a blank check mark is a target for an advisor to hit. If you're looking for capital, angel investors tend to be hands-on. And if you show your company, for example, to be really strong in the P&L area, really strong with accounting and finance, you're going to be less interesting to accounting and finance people who are looking at making an angel investment. Angel investors are oftentimes looking for the types of companies that, yes, they can put their money into, but they also want to put their time into. So a blank check mark or an answer that puts you in the red on the benchmark report, this type of stuff, is real simply a way to help you get in touch with the right people that can help you move your business forward the right way. And not a lot of noise in this conversation with the marketplace. As a matter of fact, it's one of those things we're trying to design completely out of the process. Probably never will be able to, but it is a design goal.
Okay. Do we have any questions or other comments to add to the mix?
For you networkers out there, and I'm talking about network engineers, if you're looking for the math behind this thing, you want to Google Reed's Law. Most of the social networking platforms out there utilize that to some degree or another. So do we. There's a lot of LinkedIn DNA in our design, and the simple distillation of that is the bigger the network works, the bigger the network is, the better it works. So the bigger your group is, the more advisors and entrepreneurs you have, the better the result is going to be, the better quality of mentoring, the easier it's going to be to get your business off the ground, the easier it's going to be to find capital, this kind of stuff. So in this realm, bigger is better. LinkedIn works a lot better with 100 million users, which is about where it's at today, than it did with 1 million. And I know this because I was one of the first million. So which was interesting. Anyway. So here we are with the Business Catapult. We're an early stage company, still in beta, coming out of beta sometime shortly after the first of the year. We take organizations like the IEEE, put them up on our platform in a group for free. We have a little over 100 partner groups on the platform. They have generated about 4,000 or 5,000 users of the Business Catapult to help us define our service offering as we come out of beta. As we come out of beta, the aggregate of these 100 partner groups, represent something well north of 1 million entrepreneurs. So when we come out of beta, our job is going to be to work to integrate these large organizations like the IEEE into the Business Catapult, and from there to address the rest of the market. On that note, Business Catapult partner groups are professional associations like the IEEE, colleges, universities, and business incubators. It's all free for the partner organization. Bring others if you're, recommend others if you like what we're doing to other professional associations, incubators, colleges that you're working with. I'd appreciate that. Again, of course, free to the entrepreneur. And of that 100 or so that we're working with, that's in a U.S.-based market of about 9,000. So we've got a lot of work out there in front of us. Becky here has told me a number of times that 90% of our market is overseas. Going back to the Angel Capital Summit, the angelcapitalsummit.org is an investor event run off of our platform using what we call our events management module. The framework for it is somewhat automatically generated by request of a partner organization. The use of that framework it comes in 3 flavors, real simple: silver, gold, platinum. We have a number of organizations using it to run their investor fairs, their business plan competitions, this type of stuff. For the most part, it's free. On that note, the next Angel Capital Summit is probably going to be in either South America or Tel Aviv. The partners get the call when they need to use the framework. So what that distills down to, if the IEEE wanted to do its own investor fair throughout its own network, we can private label this thing, white label it, and keep it internal to the IEEE, or you can invite the rest of the world in like we've invited the IEEE into the Angel Capital Summit. So this is all built on the open source stack. Most of you know what that is: LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, capped with Drupal. As a content management system, we've built a lot of what we're doing using Drupal modules. Any Drupal developers out there looking for a job, we're hiring. And that's pretty much the same open source stack that LinkedIn was built up on. I mentioned earlier a lot of LinkedIn DNA involved in this. I did a turnaround in 2003 that was acquired by LinkedIn for its IP, and their recently retired chief scientist has been on our advisory board forever. So we're planning on having a lot of fun with this, and we hope to see you guys up on the platform and helping us figure out how to serve you better and make this better for everybody. Very collaborative. The bigger it gets, the more people we can help. So how are we doing? Anybody thinking they like this? Anybody want to talk more about it? My contact information was on the front page. It's real simple, kevin@businesscatapult.com, or the last page there too. It's actually twice. You get K. Johansson at kevin@businesscatapult.com. If you're up on Twitter, there's my Twitter feed. You've got my LinkedIn bio there. We are intensely interested in your feedback. And if part of that feedback says that we suck, we're very interested in it because we don't want to and we need your help to get better. So appreciate you all coming up on the platform. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know.
Hey, Kevin, it's Les. We've got a chatted question in here that says how we're different than SCORE. And I would argue that the difference is SCORE is the mentors and Business Catapult is the mentoring platform. And so, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if someday we found SCORE on the platform using it as a tool to mentor the companies that they're working for. Now, I understand the SCORE model often has to do with dropping somebody inside that company and having them cohabitate. And so, you know, in SCORE's case, they might use this as a sort of way to, you know, figure out which ones they're going to do that with. But that's really the main difference. Up to now, prior to Business Catapult, there wasn't a great platform to enable these mentoring organizations to do things, and that's really where Business Catapult fits in. It is the platform. It's the software back end, if you will, of these great volunteer organizations that are trying to help the entrepreneur. This is a tool for them to use.
This is Les, it's a great point. I know the IEEE does a lot of work with SCORE. Those of you that are old enough remember the old BASF commercials in which they would say something like, "We don't make the bowling balls, we just make the bowling balls better." That's what the Business Catapult does. The Business Catapult doesn't mentor the entrepreneurs. We just improve the mentoring process. We take it online, which allows more people to engage and participate. Lots of interesting side benefits that some of our partner organizations have informed us of. By example, their client churn goes down. Their members renew more often when they're up on the platform, in part because they're getting more of what they're looking for. We've collapsed the transaction costs of the mentoring platform, which means we can mentor more people with more advisors and investors, which means more people are getting what they're looking for. Specific to SCORE, there's an organization here in Colorado called CORE. Specific to SCORE, yes, this is the type of thing that we can dramatically accelerate if they were to come up on our platform. Still in beta, haven't talked to them, but happy to work with them at any time.
Okay. Thanks for your question, Karen. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us today, both attendees today and also future listeners to this webinar. And if you have any questions, I encourage you to contact the company. Kevin's left his Skype, email, and Twitter, and you can always take a visit. Like I said, it is free to come on and as a user sign up and see what it's all about.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Les, John, appreciate it. Helen, appreciate your help for setting this up.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
This is Helen. The recording will be on our website probably by Tuesday of next week along with the slides. And I want to, on behalf of IEEE USA, I want to thank the presenters and participants. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Helen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.